Mombot calls me, Cyrus, you wouldn't believe what just happened. Gary V just bought the 2 out of 3 pieces.
Welcome to another episode of CK Off The Road. Can you introduce a little bit about what you do and just yourself in general?
I'm a digital artist, 3D generalist, game developer, multiple titles. The field of computer graphics is very broad and there's so many things to kind of temper and touch with, you know? So I love to produce pieces that kind of convey a certain story, a certain emotion, or sometimes straight up kind of immersing the viewer inside of a fantastical new world.
So how many years have you worked in the normal job? Wait, just like Iris is coffee is very important. How many years have you worked in actual like company?
So I've been working professionally for about 8 years.
Okay.
In total, I've been in computer graphics for over 15 years. Nowadays, it's mostly trying to lean away from this kind of more client model and more towards collaborative models, kind of building my own intellectual property. That's really where I'm trying to lean towards going forward.
I see. So what actually motivates you to leave those kind of stable, reliable jobs and come out and be self-employed?
New innovations every day.
Yep.
And I need to stay on top of them.
Yep.
And so in order to do that, I need to allocate this time for myself to build out my own content, my own intellectual properties, do research and development. And I feel that's where it stems from really wanting to push the bar and to reach that next level of what can be done with a computer. Really about innovating.
What are the key focus that you focus on? Talk about gaming.
The key term is immersion. So I'm more focused on creating a story that the user can immerse themselves in from A to Z. It's more about kind of a deep emotional experience, right? Where you enter a world and things come to life in a totally new way. For example, scanning my friends and bringing them into the virtual space.
Sounds like Metaverse.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's everything to do with the Metaverse, right? You're not just playing an arcade game, but rather you're entering a simulation. It becomes this kind of second life, right? Alternate reality where you can it's the ultimate escapism.
This like your own project or?
So developing my own IP, it's really more in the last 3 to 5 years where I try to develop these storylines, create all kinds of characters, really flesh them out through different mediums. I love to create through virtual reality for virtual reality.
I see.
So I was actually one of the first artists to pick up Oculus Medium and be featured by that company, which is all to do with VR sculpting, which was a new term that came about in 2016. Shifts the gears from developing 3D assets on a laptop to a full-on, visceral experience where you can really feel, see your characters in a whole new medium and proportion, right? You're actually walking around them and sculpting them.
Yeah.
So it's really fantastic. It's really engaging.
How is your business sustainable?
So again, it comes down to a mixture of sort of my own personal work, finding the clients to whom I can bring the innovation I found through my own research and development, sell them these ideas, these new tools, these new methods, these new visuals. That's one side. The other side is more through collaborative projects with other creatives, right? Where I feel that's where a lot of innovation is sparked because you're kind of stepping outside of your tunnel vision. And
how do you monetize off that career?
That's where things have really changed in the last 2 years with the advent of NFTs.
Yes.
But you could never own digital art like you do nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's bringing an entirely new distribution model for digital creators. And so that's one of the ways I found resourceful kind of income working collaboratively.
Wow. Are you actively selling your digital art or?
Yes, this is something that's oftentimes hard to achieve also. You need to find a specific kind of niche, again, patronage that is ready to kind of become your collector base, see the future in you and invest in you, right? Being able to sustain yourself, being able to kind of scale up. And it's not always easy. That's why I feel like there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance between bespoke development, work for others, and work for yourself.
I see.
This is another project I'd love to show. It's actually a collaboration with a designer toy artist called Mombot. He's been collected by crazy collectors out there, including Gary Vee, so many different creators. Actually, a collab piece that we did together, we put up on this platform known Origin, and it sat there for, 4 to 5 months. It didn't sell immediately, but randomly, out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, Mombot calls me, Cyrus, you wouldn't believe what just happened. Gary Vee just bought the 2 out of 3 pieces. Third one got scooped up. By the way, those were 3 ETH, about $2,500 at the time each.
It's gonna worth a lot more now.
Right, and so that was an incredible moment. This is the evolution of that art piece.
Okay, so he didn't know that does exist.
No.
Wow.
we like to surprise our collectors.
Yeah. So how do you convince buyers to buy your NFTs when that hasn't really been accessible?
So that's where, obviously there is the side of utility and there's still the side of art standing by itself, right? Adding a form of utility that kind of warrants the use of these digital tokens in the first place is a very kind of appealing proposition, right?
I see.
But at the end of the day, art will always live on, and this is a new method for people to collect art. We're always going to need poets in the world, right? And right now it's a way of kind of contributing, owning a piece, a chunk of that creation, which I feel is fantastic.
I see. I'm very passionate about the space. I've been studying this space for a long time, not just digital art, but in blockchain in general. As I mentioned before, we're still waiting for whatever software is available, whether it's education, gaming, that we can use our own avatar. We're still waiting for that. I think it's just the beginning. 100% NFT is the future, like 100%. I just think that it's gonna go so much beyond just art, right? Art is just the beginning, because realistically, not everyone's gonna be a Mona Lisa, right? The truth is that if everyone's creating art, cannot be just the art that's valuable. It has to be the utility. It has to be the access. Well,
what if these micro digital economies start interweaving with each other? And I feel like that's where it becomes on a whole new scale.
Yeah.
For me, I really look at the online gaming space as kind of reference. And I know that the Generation Z, my generation, and Generation Alpha is going to adopt these technologies like it's, as easy as drinking water or walking.
I think the POS system will be so convenient. It's gonna be like scan of a QR code, but you don't even know you're accessing the NFT. It'll be simpler and simpler and simpler. Like when you in 1996, and people talk about internet. It was like, oh, internet. It's like, what the hell is it, right? It's the same way. Like we're using internet every single day. You can ask the people around here who actually understand internet. No one. The same thing would be with NFTs. Is that you don't really have to understand it, but you're gonna have to use it every day. Why Thailand? Why are you here?
I moved here actually with family. My family was sort of in love with Thailand. They had some work also that brought them.
Parents or girlfriend?
As in parents.
Okay.
Now girlfriend is probably keeping me
You
here,
never know. You never know. That is the real reason.
When I moved away from Switzerland, I had choice A, which was Los Angeles, moved with my father, and choice B, Thailand with mom. So, as a up-and-coming digital artist, I'm so glad I picked Asia in general, to be here, to be present here, to learn how the culture works here. It's so important, and it is the future. I believe it so strongly, and I want to be part of the future, for sure.